What is going on, everybody? Hello, hello. Welcome to another Tuesday Live with Siser. I'm getting really excited about these. I feel like we got to name these Tuesday Lives a fun segment. So if you are hanging out in the comments with us, make sure that you're dropping in some cool segment names for these Tuesday Lives. You know, Tuesday Lives with Siser, Tuesday Lives with Patrick, whatever it may be. We just want some fun suggestions on how to brand these lives because we do them mostly every Tuesday. But this Tuesday, I'm very excited because I actually have a special guest hanging out, which we'll bring her on in 1 minute. But we're going to go through a couple of fun projects. So as many of you know, right now we have an incredible bundles going on with our friends over at Creative Fabrica. Not only fun material bundles, but also some cutter bundles. I'm just throwing it out there. It's an opportunity to get your hands on some Siser stuff if you're a Creative Fabrica person. And if you're not a Creative Fabrica person and you're a Siser person, go over to Creative Fabrica and have some fun because they got awesome deals. I mean, I can't even count. I think it's like 15 quadrillion. I'm going to make up a new word, monetary word for this, like assets and designs and fonts. It's an incredible thing. So I want to bring up our friend Kelsey from Dinosaur Mama. And we're going to go through some fun stuff together. So I think she's ready. Can I get a thumbs up if you're ready to go? Awesome. All right. She's ready to go. So let's bring her up.
Am I up?
Working for you on that side, Adam? Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Awesome. What's going on? Hold on. Let me go a bit of that action there. There we go. Cool, cool. What is going on? Thanks for hanging out with us.
Just a exciting Tuesday. Rearranged my whole craft room for this, but actually I kind of like this setup. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice. I do notice that from time to time. Like we'll do a bunch of set revisions in here, just change seasons, and then I'll find one that I really fall in love with, and I'm like, all right, this is it all the time. And then the team will be like, hey, we can't have Halloween themed stuff all the time. So yeah.
Yes, you can. People start decorating for Halloween in what, August now?
That's it. Yeah. Well, right now we're in getting close to December. So that means that we're already setting up for like end of school.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. And then the next week we'll be doing back to school already. Yeah. It's craziness.
I know. When people started decorating in August, I was like, I'm so behind. I just need to start for next year and start fresh.
I feel that so much because Anna, every once in a while, obviously everybody here knows Anna. She's the maestro of the live. She's not in today. She's hanging down in Florida right now watching. So hi, Anna. But, you know, one thing that she always tells me all the time is kind of that same thing. It's like when you change stuff out and then you hate change, but then you're like, you know what? This actually helped me kind of clean up my area and organize. So it works. It always works. But okay, so I want to get into it really quickly first. Before we even get into the live, before we get into these fun projects, we're going to show everybody, plug and tell everybody everywhere they can find you and anything that they can find you on.
Okay, so me personally, you can find me, of course, on Creative Fabrica, on YouTube, and Shorts over on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and also, I believe, YouTube for Shorts. But then also long format content over on YouTube on Creative Fabrica. You'll find me there. Personally, you can find me all those platforms as well under Dinosaur Mama or Dinosaur Mama SVG. Usually if you search Dinosaur Mama, I'll show up. So.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, yeah, thank you for doing that. I always like to make sure that you guys get a chance to plug everything up front, just so I don't miss it, because then I always go to the end of the live and I'm like, oh crap, we didn't say the platforms. No. But let's talk about these awesome bundles that you guys got going on right now with Creative Fabrica, because I think these are really cool. But I want to kind of give you an opportunity to go through the bundles. I know when we talked, you're like, hey, I got this down regionally based.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I know you've said it so many times.
So for the bundles for Creative Fabrica right now, you'll sign up for a year for $47, which is an incredible deal in itself. It's like $4 a month. And you get, like you said when you were saying in your intro, your assets like sublimation, SVGs, fonts, access into Studio, which you can create your own like AI images and create all different stuff over there, and you can download it. So you'll get that. But then right now going on, you will also receive a bundle from Siser, which is like a deal on itself.
It's a deal. It's a deal on a deal. And not to mention too, with Creative Fabrica, if you are subscribed to Creative Fabrica now, there are always all these little cool little micro deals going on. Like, hey, $3 to extend for another year. Or, hey, this deal going on to do. Like, it's incredible. Like the system that's set up for the creator, and I think that is like one of the big reasons for me why I value the platform so much.
Absolutely.
The fact that I can hop in and kind of find anything and everything, and if I don't find what I want, hop over to CF Spark or whatever it may be. You can get you know, designs created for you and artwork created, which is awesome.
It's amazing. I use it all the time. People will message me and say like, you know, I know you work with them, but I pay for my own subscription. And it's because when they run these deals, I buy them so far in advance. So you can, with this deal for Black Friday, you can buy it for the next 5 years and you'll get 5 bundles of whatever you want to choose. In the United States, you have 6 different bundles to choose from. So if you wanted to get glitter HTV, you wanted to get Easy Weed, you wanted to get DTV, you can get anything that you want.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what we're going through today is a couple projects from is this the mega bundle pack, right? Is that what it's called officially?
It's called the hugest bundle pack.
The hugest bundle. See, listen, words like a bazillion, you know, designs and the hugest and the bestiest, like these are all CF words. I'm gonna claim them for you guys right now.
Yeah.
So I think it would be fun is let's go through your project really quick, kind of explain it to us, because we're taking 2 different approaches, right? You're doing more of a traditional heat transfer vinyl, you know, or what some of our friends in the decoration world would know as like iron on. And then I'm actually using something from one of the bundles, which is our Easy Color DTV. But I felt like the bundle, you know, image, it's just a white sheet, right? So like I want to show you guys what you can create utilizing the hugest bundle pack as well. So I'm gonna let you take it away. I'm gonna let you have the floor, and I'm just hanging out here in case people have questions.
All right, so I already cut out, you see one here. So we're doing like the Food Network thing where we have one prepared, but I also have one already set up in my Juliet. And the reason I did that is I just want to show you how fast this is going to cut. So I really didn't need to do this at all and have it ready to go because this is going to be so fast. It's unbelievable. So I'm going to send it through. And that's going to start right now. There we go. All right. And then what I did was I weeded this out. And of course I mirrored it. And all we're going to do is we're going to iron it on. So I have my heat press set to 305. I'm using a little mini iron. But Patrick, if you could make sure that I'm doing the right setting there. So I don't have, here we go. I can look on here. Unless Patrick wants to hop back on, tell me. Wait, you're muted.
Back now. Perfect. Okay. Sorry, I was muted when we go out of the stage and we come back, it automatically mutes us. But yes, you're correct.
305, right? Okay.
Yep, 305. I always say the golden rule of thumb with any heat transfer for anybody watching is 305 to 310 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds. And the reason why I do kind of a variance of it is as a crafter myself, I find that certain materials, you know, it might be more beneficial to go down to 305, 300 degrees, or in even some cases, which little pro tip about Easy Weed for anybody out there watching, is that it actually can be applied as low as 280 degrees. So if you have some heat sensitive garments, you can still use the product and utilize it for your designs. It's just anytime we lower the temperature, as everybody knows here, we always increase the time of application. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's almost done cutting, which is amazing. Awesome. And it's so quiet, which is awesome. So these are available on Creative Fabrica right now. You can get a Juliet or a Romeo, and it comes in a bundle.
Yep.
Amazing.
And I do
want to sign up for 6 years.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. You can also sign up for 6 years at Creative Fabrica and get as much HTV as you want. So
That's it. That's awesome. And I just want to make a note of something, because we talk to a lot of people about using a conventional heat press, but most people know that our brand was built and our products were built on just being able to utilize something as such as a home iron for application. And I think you have a really good example of that, of having something that's not a traditional clam style or auto open press. We can use more of what I consider like Cricut mini presses, or like what you have is more of a crafting iron, or more of a crafting mobile iron. But then you can also utilize those as well. And I think a lot of people, it's going to be cool to see an application with that. because a lot of people think, oh, I can't use, just a simple home iron. I always have to have this press, which gets expensive, and we get that. So it's cool that you're kind of show that by default.
No, yeah. So this is what I use most often. I do have an automatic heat press, but for something like this, I can easily use, even my home iron would have been fine. And then if you don't have this, I like to use the Teflon sheet for a lot of my stuff. You don't have to use this. You can also use parchment paper, but you actually don't even have to use it if you don't want to. So you can get these on Amazon if you want them, but parchment paper you can get at your grocery store.
Nice. Now I noticed that you're bringing over obviously the pad.
That's why I don't want my table.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So this is obviously to protect your table. So if you guys don't have a conventional heat press, and even if you're using just a standard home iron, what Kelsey's showing is actually a perfect thing. Having a heat resistant pad will just protect your table in general. So even if you don't go the mini press route or go a conventional like craft style iron press, you can always use your home application, or I mean your home iron, and then just make sure you always have that heat resistant pad.
All right, so I'm folding this in half. This is like something that I learned, I think, when I was first starting.
Yeah.
To line it up in the center. Now, the shirt's pretty wrinkly. I think I've had this sitting over on my shelf for a little while, but I wanted to do red and white for Siser.
I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Of course, of course.
And Johan, our managing director, will appreciate that too, because he yells at me when I don't wear a Siser shirt on a live. And I have done it many times before, where he's like, "Hey, you didn't even have anything Siser on. What are you doing?"
It's okay. I'm here to help. Now you can cut. I have the little things. I just didn't grab it, but I do have a little piece of plastic that'll help you line up. You can get those as well. That'll help. But I usually come down maybe like 2 inches from the top and place it on. Now, again, you can just go on this and start ironing. I think it's out of habit that I throw on my Teflon.
Yeah, I think it's just safe. We always tell people, the carrier sheet kind of acts as that cover sheet for your material. But a lot of times, in your case, maybe you don't need it. But if you were to have multiple colors, especially if you have little tiny elements to add in there, well, obviously you don't want that heat plat hitting directly on the material. So yeah, I think creature of habit, I've done that as well. Now, people will call you out on our lives if you don't use a cover sheet. So, and I've learned that the hard way.
Now, I'm using, again, this is like a home iron. It's actually smaller than a home iron, so that's fine. But I'm going to keep moving, but I'm going to try to do it for about 15 to 20 seconds, just so that I'm covering everything for about the 10 to 15 seconds.
Awesome.
This one does have a timer on it. I'm just kind of rolling with it and using the timer on here.
Nice. And also to know when Kelsey does lift this cover sheet up after she's done, in red garments and some colored garments, you may see a difference of color on where you're actually applying your design versus the full color of the shirt. A lot of times, I know that you guys at home think that, you were scorching or burning our material. You're not. What's happening is you're drawing all that moisture out of the shirt, but you're not removing it from the entire shirt. So you're always going to have a hot and cold spot, but usually goes away within a couple hours or within the first wash, or, I mean, I've had them go away pretty close to like 20 minutes, so don't ever worry about that for anybody out there that is using this and maybe utilizing a red garment or a different color and noticing that it's darker where you've applied. That's normal for that to happen.
All right.
Cool.
Now I always peel really gently.
The peel and pray method is what we call it.
The what?
The peel and pray method.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing that.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
But this came out great.
That's awesome.
It really did.
That looks really good.
Now, you can go over it again.
Yep.
Which is what I do. And I didn't know that about the moisture, so that's actually really cool. That's great.
Yeah. It was something that I kind of learned because when I first got here, I was doing a lot of polyester garments and a lot of like reds and blues and oranges. And I couldn't figure out what the heck was happening. And then I would notice that it would happen with cotton garments too. And then I realized over time, as I learned about it, is that it's basically just drawing the moisture out of those spots that the heat's applying to, but it's obviously not drawing it out of anywhere else, which is cool.
So, I mean, this is done. This came out easy. This cut within 25 seconds. So I could have done the project fully, weeding it.
Yeah.
And everything.
And that's another thing too, from your perspective as well. I mean, I know you've used obviously these types of materials before, but for easy weed, I mean, it's in the name, it's easy to weed, but how do you feel that the product itself reacted when you were cutting and weeding and applying?
Well, yeah, obviously I've been doing this for like 5 years now, professionally. And I have to say, this is like the thinnest HTV that I've used. And it's great because I am mainly I consider myself mainly a paper crafter.
Okay.
I use HTV in a lot of my paper crafts.
Yeah.
So this is great for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I was traditionally, before I came to Siser, I was very much, I did vinyl, but a lot of like stenciled wood sign painting. So it was like very different for me to get into this world and kind of learn a little bit more about this world when I got here, and just some of the differences and similarities of things that I was already doing. So I'm always curious people's feedback, or, you know, we're a big company on feedback. So I always like to know, for sure. Well, while you're kind of finishing this up too, I'm just going to kind of get into this project as well, because I thought I would want to show a little bit of the actual process itself.
I'm excited.
I want to show people what we're actually going to be doing. So we're going to make, actually, Adam, can I get this on the overhead, or should I do the front camera for this? Is that good? So what we're actually going to be doing is I'm going to take one of these images that were in, or designs that were in the, I'm upside down, sorry. Wrong orientation of the camera. One of these designs that were actually in the bundle that was under the Christmas rules stuff. And I thought it was funny because it's Christmas rules, make a memory, the magic is coming, leave smiles, and eat more cookies, which is kind of my credo, no big deal. But I wanted to show people, because this traditionally can be cut with different colors of vinyl, a red, a green, and a black. But I want to show you guys how to actually convert an SVG from a Creative Fabrica file into a print and cut inside Leonardo. Now, the benefit for you is Creative Fabrica has already done the heavy lifting for you. So there's PNGs, SVGs attached to all of these files in there. But I thought it would be a great way to show you to make a simple contour and do a fun, quick promotional kind of style shirt for a family gathering or whatever it may be that's coming this Christmas. So let me go ahead and actually get this cut started first, because there's two different ways that we can actually cut this image out. We can either use our cutter, which we'll use the trusty Juliet for it, but we can also hand cut this design, being that it's a simple contour shape. And the other big benefit is too, because we are going to cut this into one simple shape, just to make it a really easy, convenient application, we also don't have to worry about any transfer tape, because what we'll be able to do is just peel this off in one go and make it a little bit easier. All right. So putting it on my mat here. I'm going to load it up in the Juliet. Line it up with my lineup mark, my alignment mark, should I say. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually travel towards the top of this page. Now, as you guys can see on the overhead, I have my registration marks that are super, super close to my image, so that I can expand and I can utilize my entire artboard. But what I want to do is just grab some of this open space, because this is where I can do my test cut. We always talk about doing test cuts here at Siser, so this is a great opportunity for me to adjust some cut settings really quickly, do a quick test cut in a space that won't affect my image, and then it'll make sure that I get a much healthier application. Let's go ahead, move that on over. Let me find where my test cut is. It's the benefit of white on white, is that finding your test cut. Cool. So all of my test cut worked perfectly fine. Now what I can do for anybody out there that might want to utilize print and cut, especially with the Romeo or the Juliet and inside Leonardo, is I want to align my blade with my bottom left registration mark. Now, we talk about this a lot here at Siser, but I think that it's something that, I got to make sure I'm lined up. It's something that we always have to kind of continue to talk about. Now, when you have registration marks in an image, you're going to have this series of triangles, basically, that are written out. And what the Juliet does, or if you are a Cricut user, Silhouette user, your system will utilize those registration marks to basically find your image or the boundary of your image. So what we need to do is we're going to line our blade up right on the inside corner of our bottom left registration mark. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us a starting point to our cut. And that's where our camera will basically start. So I'm just going to make sure that it's right inside of that mark. And I don't have the software plugged in right now, Adam. So I'll just run this cut really quick. And then from there, I can go into my software and I can simply select the send to cutter option. Really quickly, though, I do want to make sure that I'm set up on the appropriate Wi-Fi. And give me 1 second
So
here. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
did a reel yesterday on print and cut with Julia, and the feedback was great. The only question I got was, do you feel like it takes a long time to line it up?
The whole system down.
And
Okay.
I feel like
There we go.
the time that you're taking, the 5 seconds to make sure that your registration marks are properly lined up, saves you so much in the long run from having a miscut.
Yes.
Because there's
Agreed.
nothing worse than your machine totally going through to pull it off to find out that it's like a half an inch off.
Yeah, agreed with that. And now, so we're in software really quickly. Hold on 1 second here. Just make sure that I can get this going. That is 4. And then 242. Oh, sorry, we have like most of our cutters in the office all on our network. And if I run a cut a certain IP address, I start running the ones up in A&D, and they get mad at me. All right, so the other cool thing too is we can hop on the overhead, because I really want to show this portion of finishing this project or getting this started on the cut is what's called the area test. And I think a lot of times when we talk about utilizing an area test, we think of it just for heat transfer material, but I actually utilize it for print and cut too, because what I want to know is I want to know if that blade is going to stay within the boundary of those registration marks. It's one little guess and check area for me to really just make sure that we're honing in on those cut lines. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run an area test. The other benefit of this is it also is allowing me to make sure that I have a proper connection from my software over to my cutter without actually having to run a cut, because in the event that I were to run a cut and maybe I didn't check my cut settings and I'm only checking to make sure it's connected, well, you could affect obviously your material, your machine, and everything else. So I use that area test all the time just to double check a connection if I need to. So from there, what I'm able to do is I can go ahead and hit send to cutter. And one of the new cool features that we have in our send to cutter options is you can actually advance to the end of your cut. So once this is done cutting, this will advance my material all the way out so I can grab it easier. But if I am mass producing these, on say like a roll of vinyl, I can just go to the end of my cut and then hit the replay feature and get my production moving pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And then what we're going to notice is that the cutter will actually pick up the registration marks, which right now it looks like my camera is being wonky. And that is OK. Adam, can you grab me that Juliet that is out there? Because I can always connect to another one if I need to. So let's go ahead and run that one more time. Yep, I grabbed the one that we use for photos and video. This one doesn't actually, the camera doesn't actually work on this one. All right, that's fine. So we'll bring in one more. And this is the other big benefit too, is like I can go ahead and take this Juliet out. I can grab another one, plug it or hook it up right away if we have one out there. If not, I can hop over to the Romeo. Do we have one over there? That's okay. I'll bring this Romeo over there.
And that's showbiz, baby.
That's showbiz. That's what happens, right?
That's what happens.
That's okay. No, it's good. Bring the Romeo. I just used this one the other day anyway. So I'm just going to turn that kind of on a side angle.
So,
just so
Patrick, I have a question, if that's
okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, so for mass production from a print and cut, you still have to line up those registration every time, right?
Still have to line up the registration, but the benefit is of having the recut feature or that recut button is all you have to do is line up the next page, hit recut, and you're done. Okay. And actually, we can show a little example of this here in a second.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. Okay. Now all I have to do is just change this IP address over. And our audience is so used to this. They're so used to just like traveling this world with me. And when we fail, we just fix it and we move on.
Yeah.
119, 220. Okay. Cool. So now we can do the same. Now the benefit is I've already kind of got my cut settings established. So that makes it a little bit easier, but I'm still going to run just a small test cut because you never know when your blade might be a little bit more advanced, a little less advanced than the previous blade that you've had into your cutter itself. So once my material is lined up, I'm going to go ahead and go back over to that open space one more time. And we're going to change our cut settings back to where we had it. Now, for anybody out there, I have my cut setting at 8. But again, if this blade is advanced a little bit more or retracted a little bit more than the previous blade, I may decide to go to a 10 or an 11 to make this work out pretty well. So let's go ahead and make sure that that'll weed. That weeds out, and then that one weeds out. We're good. So now we can have some fun. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and align that up one more time. Pretty easy. And then I'm going to go back into my software, and we're going to go ahead and hit send to cutter. So again, on this one, it's basically scanning all of the registration marks on the actual image itself. Now, the cool part is there's a high definition camera. So it makes those registration marks super, super, super simple and easy to see and to read for the cutter. So we're done with our cut. Now I can tear this off. I'm going to bring the Romeo. Oh, actually, you know what? Here, I'll show you really quick. So now we have our first one done. I can go ahead and grab my second one, apply it to my mat. And this is one of those ones where everybody in here, I mean, at least our family does, we do like a cookie bake. This is really quick. We can produce these fast, get the family dressed up for the holidays, and have some fun with it. So the cool part about the production, like I said, I can go ahead and align that blade up, and then I'm going to simply hit the play button that's on the LCD screen, and like that, it will just send the cut again.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So maybe I'm lining up my blade wrong when I send it.
No, you know what? It's not that you're lining up your blade wrong. It's that every once in a great while, like everything else, you know, technology can be technology.
Okay.
But also there's easy, simple ways to fix, you know, part of this process. There's simple, easy ways to fix if you do get a misalignment and you notice it, meaning that maybe it is that your cutter fails the registration. Because again, we're all human. It happens, right? You know, sometimes the cutter has tendency to not read a mark properly or whatever it may be. All you do is can make some micro adjustments, just like you kind of did actually in your video, where you use the arrows to find the registration mark. It's really it to make it to make a simple, easy, you know, process. So okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and put this back down. All right. Cool. So now I just basically did a really, really simple contour just around the outside of this design. I didn't overcomplicate it or anything, because remember, most of these we're making and we're wearing, especially around the holidays in my house, the kids are wearing these things one time for that one family photo, and then we're ditching it. So we find usually cheap crew necks or cheap fun, and we add our designs to those and make our lives really, really simple. Here's the cool part about Easy Color DTV. If I have one solid image, and the reason why I'm using a white background on this is because my garment's white, okay? So it'll match or it'll hide it to where I can produce this quickly. It's basically creating a large scale sticker essentially to throw onto the actual shirt, but I don't need transfer tape. I can use a sheet of transfer tape to transfer this over, or in this case, I can simply just pull off the design, and it doesn't matter if it gets crinkled or crumbled or anything, because as you can see over on the heat press, let me organize my workspace here. As you did such a nice job to organize yours, and I totally didn't clean up. I'm sorry.
You're fine. It doesn't look good to me.
I'm going to go ahead and give my garment a quick pre-press. Now, I can do one of two things with this. Number one, I can pre-press my garment. But as everybody else knows, especially if you're hanging out for National Heat Transfer Vinyl Day a couple weeks ago, is this also is going to help to draw that moisture out. So just like we saw with Kelsey's red shirt, you know, sometimes in that pressing mark can be there for a short time. You may experience the same thing when you are pressing and getting all the moisture out of your garment off the press. Again, not something to be super concerned with. It's just getting all that moisture out so that we can get that garment kind of shrunk back to its natural state. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually line my shirt up, or my crew neck, should I say. I've understood this in the office, that crew necks in the wintertime is you don't mess around. They're crew necks. They're not shirts. They're not sweaters. They're crew necks.
Well, mine went back to the normal color.
Oh, did it? Good already. See? That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. So it doesn't matter if my DTV happens to be curled up or anything like that. I'm going to really purposely try to mess this up for you guys so you can see it. Let's go ahead. Really, really crinkle this thing up. I mean, we're beating up our DTV sheet pretty bad. So what I'm going to do is apply a little bit of heat to my garment. And this is kind of the magic of DTV. When I lay my DTV back down, you'll see it naturally starts to, with the heat, uncurl itself and naturally start to heal itself right before your eyeballs. Check that out. And then we got this one little spot. Sometimes you got to give it a little bit of an assist, and then it kind of lays down just like that. So now what I can do is I can take my image. I'm going to go ahead, make sure that it's lined up. I know everybody in the comments are yelling at me right now because I'm not adding a pressing line in there. And you had made mention that you have a really cool resource to be able to line up your items. I think that those are super, super awesome. I've always gone over the rule of thumb and just like, you know, the piece will actually do for you is I've always gone, like 2 to 3 inches, or usually we say 2 to 3 fingers from the collar is good placement. So let's go ahead.
You got to be careful with those things that line them up because if they're such thin plastic, if you have it on a heat press that you have like a clamshell, it'll melt.
Yeah. Oh, will it really?
Yeah.
That's a good piece of feedback. Oh, hold on one second here.
Like it'll melt even if like you pre-press your shirt. Like it'll start warping.
Alrighty. So check this out. So what we can do with DTV, one of the big benefits too is that it essentially has a built-in carrier sheet, or built-in like transfer sheet. Now it doesn't physically pick the material up, but what you can actually do with the carrier that came with your DTV is I can use that as a simple cover sheet, line that up on my design, making sure that no portions of my design are actually touching the heating element itself. Go ahead and give that a quick 1 to 2 second press. Lift it up, and then now what I can do is if I want to, I can go back with a piece of parchment or a cover sheet of any kind, whether it's Teflon, parchment, or anything such as that nature, hit that with the heat press, or I can, again, just continue to utilize that backing sheet to the DTV. So really quickly, though, while this is going through and we're waiting for this to finish, Adam, do we got any big questions coming on, not only for us, but for Creative Fabrica, for their team, anything about the bundles that we want to highlight really quick?
We do have a question I saw come up a couple of times.
Okay.
After you claim the deal, where do you go to claim your free gift?
Oh, that's great. That's a great question. So after you claim the Creative Fabrica deal, where do you go to claim your free gift?
So you should receive an email, a separate email. It's not going to be immediate. It takes a little bit of time. I want to say within 24 to 48 hours, but I'll wait for Brittany to just confirm that in the chat. And it'll be a separate email, and you'll get your option then to confirm what you want to get. Yeah, 24 to 48 hours, you'll get your email.
Okay, so 24 to 48 hours after you've claimed your deal.
Yes.
That's when you should get an email.
After you've signed up for your subscription.
Perfect.
Yep.
What other questions we got? And here actually I can look through some of them too. Let's double check and let's see what kind we've asked about.
Brittany said that you get a gift credit.
Okay, so a gift credit. So then you'll be able to, because if I remember correctly, you can select which one you want, right? Something like that. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Let's see. This one says, oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. This one we've just answered. So Lisa had asked, where do we choose our bundle?
Yep.
That comes with the Creative Fabrica. So after you get that, you'll get a credit that'll allow you to choose what bundle you want.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. I'm just going through questions. And if you guys have any questions for either of us, or more importantly, if you got any questions for Creative Fabrica, we got them here, right? We got them here. So ask away.
I've been using Creative Fabrica even separately before I worked with them for years, because it's a great platform. And what I should mention, and I didn't mention before, is that everything has commercial usage once you sign up. So if you are a small business, that's huge.
Yes.
You can use those images, SVGs, to make shirts that you can sell. And you have the rights to do that. And
also the fonts, any fonts too have a commercial attachment, right?
And that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the commercial tag on a design to me is very, very important, but especially with fonts and things like that, it's really important because we use so many, and I don't think people realize how many different fonts you choose, whether you're in marketing in your job, whether you're just in an airport, you know, you're looking at streets. There's so much copy used around the world, as we got the Sultan of Syllables here himself, Adam Sneath, in studio. But with that, you don't realize like, yeah, that could affect you as a business owner in some way, shape, or form if you're not careful. And now, you're educating on the Creative Fabrica platform too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yes, there are videos on Creative Fabrica as well as on YouTube.
Awesome.
Both
Awesome.
places.
Awesome.
And you can find me on both places.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm one of many teachers, though. I'm not the only teacher.
Yeah.
So,
That's the one thing I will say. Creative Fabrica does have, I will say in the industry, just in my perspective, okay, I'm going to take my Siser hat off, putting just my craft dad hat on. I would say that they probably have the most diverse group of creators that all contribute to the platform too. So like if you are, in the business of educating yourself and elevating your business, maybe Kelsey's paper craft stuff is not your jam. Maybe you are a vinyl person. Maybe you're a sublimation person, an embroidery person, whatever it may be, you can find it right from the platform. So I don't want this to just be, obviously, we got Kelsey in here and it's me. So we want to plug ourselves too, but the platform overall is a really incredible resource for you to utilize, and making sure that you get your hands on some of these awesome Siser bundles is just an added bonus, for you guys, for Creative Fabrica, for Siser, for everybody collectively. So it's kind of two powerhouses teaming up together, which is awesome. Adam, you had one highlighted. What was that question?
Oh, I was just highlighting the Cortez, mentioning that using a Teflon cover sheet will make your DTV more vibrant.
Yes.
Whereas a piece of parchment paper will give it a more matte.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually throw that one up again. So from our very own Cortez upstairs, this is a great statement that he made. So if you didn't know before, that a Teflon cover sheet will actually make your DTV more vibrant and a tad bit glossy, whereas a piece of parchment or craft paper will leave your DTV with more of a matte finish. That's a great point. That's a great
I haven't heard anything bad about DTV. I've tried quite a bit of printable. That's what we can call it, right? Printable HTV.
Yeah, most of the other ones are like a true paper though, which is weird. They'll say like printable paper, and ours is an actual like heat transfer material that accepts those things. Yeah.
I have tried quite a bit and have not had success. So I have to try, but I've heard nothing but great things about yours, and I haven't tried it yet.
Hey, I told you, anytime, call me. We'll hop on a call and we'll walk through the whole process if you want. I think it's awesome. And I coined this kind of as, so I'm kind of a little rogue agent in the industry. I coined this as like the at-home DTF solution.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really what it is, because you can get full color, vibrant, and actually we can hop onto this now that the shirt's applied, but you guys can see my design on there. Really, really cute the way this turned out. I know it's kind of like white on white, but I'll hold that up for you.
It's okay. Looks good.
Really, really cute, full color design. And, again, yes, this is 3 colors. So for all of your print on demand people out there, or people that are doing print on demand on a regular basis, you guys know that if you were to cut, weed, and apply all 3 of these colors, it may be a little bit of time for you to do, but you can grab a piece of easy color DTV. You can bring it into just your home desktop printer. That's all you need. You don't need a big fancy printer, DTF equipment, inks that aren't certified and CPSI compliant, and who knows what you're doing. You can get your hands on something really, really simple and do it right from your own home. And the benefit is I can do it today. I don't have to necessarily do it, on like wait 7 to 10 days or 5 to 7 days or whatever for my designs to show up. So awesome. Well, this is really cool. I appreciate that. So let's double check really quick. I just want to make sure, do we have any more questions that are popping in? Let's see.
And if you haven't been on Creative Fabrica's website yet, over on our website, go over and look around, and also just see, like, you can see when you want to buy a font for commercial use, it can be very expensive and it can add up. Whereas if you can get the deal with the bundle from Siser, it's just worth it paying for the year.
That's and I'm actually on the website right now. I'm just kind of cruising through, and you guys can see the absolute massive library of things that are in here. So no matter what you need, I've actually found things. I will say this. I have looked online like all creators do. We all look online for inspiration. And I have found so many images that I've clicked on like a Google image and saying like, hey, I kind of like the way that looks, or I'm kind of inspired by that image. And then I click on it and it's a Creative Fabrica one, or it's already on the website. So it makes my life that much easier too. But I've done that so many times.
My dogs are going nuts because someone just rang my doorbell, but luckily I have my door closed today and she's not in here. But there's everything. There's laser files if you're a laser crafter. There's literally everything in there.
That's
so
awesome.
I never feel like I'm like missing out on anything.
And yeah, and I never feel like I'm searching too long for anything, because that's the thing too, is like each page seems like it's an endless scroll.
Yeah, it is.
I'll doom scroll and realize I've only been on page 1.
Yeah. No,
Adam, what questions do we got?
I just wanted to make sure that you don't forget to mention the bundles they got going on, the cutter bundles.
Oh, yes, that's the other big thing, and thank you so much, Adam, for that. We have to mention the cutter bundles that are going on right now as well. Is Anna texting you on the side? Of course she is, yeah. But to make mention, as of right now, you can go to Creative Fabrica and you can buy a Romeo or a Juliet bundle today. And it's something that not only do you get your Romeo or your Juliet, or maybe you resubscribe or you re-up with Creative Fabrica, you get yourself a gift. And now you have 2 really awesome resources that you can utilize. And now you have a platform in which you can find everything. So the Juliet bundle and the Romeo bundle are also available on Creative Fabrica. Do we have, Adam, is there like a creativefabrica.com/Romeo Juliet?
I do have a link
to
that page.
Can we put that up in the chat? So Adam's actually going to put up the link to the page in the chat as well, so that you guys have that. And I like how Anna just commented it and said, of course she didn't text Adam and tell him to say that. So
Brittany let us know so that we know what's in it. So the Juliet bundle has the Siser Juliet Easy Color DTV, a 5-pack, 45-degree blade, 60-degree blade, 12-month Leonardo Studio Pro. This is a great bundle.
Yeah, it's a huge one.
Subscription. It's huge. 10 12x12 HTV sheets, 12x24 high-tack cutting mat, 1 application tape, 4 12x12 Easy PSV sheets, 12x12 light tack cutting mat, and then an easy squeegee and 1,000 Leonardo appreciation tokens.
Whoa. Okay, so for anybody out there that doesn't know, Leonardo Design Studio Pro, we have the Apprentice, which is an AI tool that we have. But normally you re-up and you get, like, as a pro subscriber, you get like 30 tokens every single month. I mean, that's a huge amount of tokens.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a ton of tokens. So that's awesome. So not only do you have access to Leonardo Design Studio, and we have a small design library that's in there as well. I mean, I don't want to say it's small by any means. It's got a lot of files in it, and everything is homemade and homegrown here at Siser and commercial free as well. But then you also have access to this incredible platform where you can get even more assets, more fonts, more designs, more everything. And you got education in both places. So some would say it's a match made in heaven, but we'll let the verdict stand as it is.
And the Romeo bundle comes with pretty much all the same stuff, minus the squeegee and the tokens. So those are both available on Creative Fabrica for a limited time. So make sure you go check it out at creativefabrica.com/Black Friday/machines. That's where you can check those out. And also,
pull that up too.
Not only do you get to pick from your gift, right, when you sign up, you also are entered automatically into a giveaway of over 150 different crafting machines.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So there's a ton of them in there then.
Yes.
That's really cool. Okay, so this has been a live that is not anymore a Creative Fabrica /Siser live. This is just going to be called the Benefit Sandwich Live, I think. Just benefit sandwiches all over the place. But this was really fun. I appreciate this. Do we have, really quick, do we have any last things in the room? Any last questions, comments, things we need to get to in here?
There is one question about DTV.
Okay, go for it. We got a question about DTV really quick.
Okay.
How long will DTV last?
Ooh, that's a really good question. So I would say with most of our materials, like 3 to 5 years is what I've always used as a rule of thumb. DTV, honestly, if it's stored properly, it's a really, it's a material that has a lot of longevity to it. I mean, I haven't had any sheets personally yet that I've had for like 6 or 7 years, but when we get to that point, I'll find something. Well, maybe I'll call the warehouse and see if they got some old sheets in there, or they got an old like box that just got, you know, fortunately went under a shelf somewhere and they just found it. And then we'll do some testing on it, because it might be fun what the end result is. You never know. But yeah, usually typically 3 to 5 years with any material is in a properly stored environment. That's where you should be kind of starting to change that out or thinking about going through that stuff first. Yeah.
All right.
So Cool. All right, let's double check. Do we got anything else? All right, perfect. Well, one more time, I want you to obviously plug all Creative Fabrica, plug yourself so that the people can know where to find you, and then I'll close it up here.
All right, so head over to creativefabrica.com/Black Friday to just see the general Black Friday deal. Sign up for a year subscription or extend your current subscription and receive a Siser gift of your choosing, depending on your region. And this is available in multiple regions. It is not just the United States. It is not just Canada. It's all over Europe. There are countries in there that if I tried to pronounce them, I would sound kind of like a jerk. So we just won't even, we won't do that. So make sure you check that out. Add on \machines if you want to buy your own Juliet or Romeo. Again, that is limited time on those bundle offers, but they are amazing bundles. You can find me if you like my teaching style over on creativefabrica.com, as well as on the YouTube channel and on Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of that. And you can find me at Dinosaur Mama. I think it's right here. Dinosaur Mama SVG on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. I do my own stuff as well.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for hanging out and doing a fun little craft with us. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah, I would love that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, and if you guys already don't know where to find Siser products, you can always reach out to us at info@siserna.com. If you don't already have a reseller, distributor, retailer near you, we'll find you the closest location. Make sure that you take advantage of the Creative Fabrica deal, and make sure that if you haven't already, join our support group at Siser North America Support on Facebook. It is, I say it all the time, it is like-minded creatives all helping, teaching, and guiding each other, and we are all there as well in the on the platform, and we are responding as well. So not only do you get interaction with our team here at Siser, you also are getting interaction with the folks in the community that are doing these things and struggling with some of the same things, or maybe have found solutions to them. And so it's great to be able to help each other out. And as always, follow us on all platforms. Siser North America, SISERNA.com is our website, and you can find us literally everywhere. Just type in Siser North America. But any final statements? Any final things? Awesome. All right. Well, as you guys know, happy crafting, stay creative, and we'll see you next time.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.